The front doors of the church rattled loudly. I rose up quickly out of my chair, and I looked out of my office window. A man with a red bandana for a face mask walked across the grass towards the back door. Should I really be meeting a random stranger now in the full height of the pandemic? I wondered to myself. I assumed he needed money. My mind went to the caring fund account and where that checkbook was kept. Then I heard a knock on my office door. It was Betsy, our music coordinator. "Someone wants to talk to the priest," she said. "Well, tell him there are none here," I said. "I think a man just wants to pray." I put on my sport coat, my face mask, and sat on a pew across from him, right here. Because of our distance and the awkward angle, it was really hard to make eye contact, so I moved a green padded chair closer and sat so that we could still be in eye contact but distant. "You have my undivided attention," I said. "I'm here for you. Please, tell me what is on your heart." And I looked into his eyes, and I saw pain. "Where are you from?" He told me he did not live locally. He gave someone a ride to the courthouse and had a little time to kill. And I said, "Most people don't kill time in churches. Why'd you come here?" He told me he was using drugs. His family wanted him to go to rehab, but he didn't want to. In that moment, I felt uniquely qualified somehow to be present to him. I told him, "You have a medical condition. If you broke your arm or if you had cancer, wouldn't you go seek professional help? Your odds are going to be better if you seek professional help." He spoke of a higher power, and he asked me if he should surrender to it. I said something about the illusion of control that we live in, but he couldn't bring himself to surrender. He told me his mother was very religious, but that he only goes to Mass when he's obligated to. He told me how many people he had hurt. And pretty soon, he just started weeping. I think I helped him deepen the pain to a level that it could be shared and examined. And I offered him a healing prayer. I gave him words of acceptance, of love, of healing, of peace, and surrender. I felt the Spirit in this room. He asked what denomination this church is. I kept it simple. We're an open faith, centered in love. For a few moments, I felt deeply connected to this man with a red bandana mask. And then he was gone. Alcoholics Anonymous, or AA, talk about addicts having a moment of surrender. It's when they admit their individual efforts alone are not enough. A spiritual insight comes, and they realize they can't beat addiction on their own. Then, and only then, are they open to the guidance and support available through the program and their higher power. In the AA context, surrender doesn't imply defeat. It's an act of courage and of hope. I don't know if that was that man's moment of surrender or not. If it wasn't, hopefully, it was a movement towards surrender. Now, in my youth, I experimented with drugs. And as I reflect back on those times, I know I was seeking transcendence, to fly above and beyond, a yearning to be released. There is definitely a spiritual component to drug use. The rock band U2 has a song called Moment of Surrender, in which the lead singer Bono takes on the voice of an addict and sings, "I've been in every black hole, at the altar of the dark star. My body is a begging bowl, and it's begging to get back to my heart, and to the rhythm of my soul, and to the rhythm of my unconsciousness, and to the rhythm that yearns to be released from control." And then later in that same song, "At the moment of surrender, a vision over visibility, I did not notice the passers-by, and they did not notice me." The darkness leads to a body begging for release, and then it happens. A conversion-like experience. The person is transformed, and nobody else can see it. Surrender is a ubiquitous concept in many religions. Islam, in particular, talks a lot about submission and surrender to Allah, the Quran, to the belief system, the 5 pillars. So when Rumi tells us to surrender, it's a loaded word that he is recycling and reusing and reinventing. Rumi is getting at something quite different, though perhaps scarier: a willful surrender of spirit. We just aren't quite what we thought we were. So we surrender to what we really are and what we could become. For Rumi, the goal is spiritual intoxication, to be immersed in love, to be swallowed up by the mystical center of things. And in order to get there, we submit, we surrender, and let go. The more our stony, sharp facades crumble, the more we have access to the life of flowers. Now, to some of us, surrender might be a difficult concept. After all, who wants to give up? And to what exactly are we surrendering to? We may feel that our education and our professions give us freedom and control, and we are not about to give up any of that. We never want to admit defeat. We're never going to submit to some authority. It may feel like we are in control of some things, maybe many things. But are we really? With our own jagged stones of belief piercing the air of infinity. No matter who we are and what we believe, it seems to me that life is a series of steps, turns, curves that teach us to surrender, to yield, to submit. Perhaps it's to surrender to our stage in life, to surrender to what life is actually calling us to instead of our own ambition. Surrendering is not losing. It's admitting reality and acknowledging life the way it is. And so we surrender to the flawed nature of democracy, and also to the Grand Canyon. In these upcoming holidays, it may seem the whole world will be celebrating the seasons with joy and merriment, but it's also okay not to. Holidays may bring up bad memories, loved ones who've died, or we just may sense the pain of the world. These too are moments to surrender to. And I don't think it's just one big surrender. There are multiple daily surrenders. In another U2 song entitled Unknown Caller, where again the singer takes on the voice of an addict, and in the song, all of a sudden starts getting strange text from an unknown number. Go, shout it out, rise up, escape yourself and gravity, hear me, cease to speak, so that I may speak. Shush now. Restart and reboot yourself. Shout for joy if you get the chance. Whether we struggle with addiction or not, whether we are in recovery or not, from time to time, we all seek solace and long for something we can't quite grasp. And sometimes we get called into something from unexpected places. Because sometimes we are like jagged rocks, so stony and cold and sharp, with tight, brittle shoulder blades, quick to anger, easily annoyed. But when we crumble to the earth, we grow and we become. Then life emerges again. So give into it. If you want to win, lose. If you want to be truly happy, surrender. The Spirit may be just asking us to break, crack, and open, become smaller so that you can become bigger. Relearn and reboot yourself. Cease to resist. Trust and yield. Mindful of that bulb of hope that withstands even winter. Each new day, each sunrise is a chance to surrender. A chance to surrender to mystery in these frequent nudges of spirit. Surrender is more than a recovery technique or esoteric mysticism of Rumi. It's a daily practice. So let your solid rock defense system crumble. Don't hang on too tight to what you already are. Life will emerge from the crumbles. Try something different, something softer. Surrender. Allow yourself to be loosened to life. Allow yourself to crack and fall to become ground. And then in the holy book of dirt, our dormant seeds will grow from the moments of surrender. Amen. So may it be.